Okay, so today's video just gonna be a little different, as you can tell, because we are indeed going to be talking about the Like a Dragon Yakuza series on Amazon Prime. And because I didn't want to try to capture any use any of the footage from the show, because that could, potentially get you in a bit of trouble. We're just gonna have some good old running around in infinite wealth as a background, It's good stuff, good times. But anyway, I definitely have a lot of thoughts about this show, and I actually did the slightly crazy thing, for me at least. I know most people do it. I probably should do this more often, but to be fair, you really only do it while watching TV shows. But I actually took notes about what my thoughts were and everything, just so I could keep a cohesive what was going on here. So honestly, as an overall, and I'm gonna talk kind of spoilers. It's more so going to be spoilers, I would say, for the games, Yakuza 1 and 2, if you have not, well, I guess more just 1, if you have not played it. Because, let's be real, in the show, there's, there's not much, and I'm also going to be totally transparent. It's 6 episodes, I was not able to finish the show. Straight up, I was not able to finish watching it. And before anybody questions the classes, I don't know why Adachi is not the class I have now. But anyway, that's a side note. But so honestly, this show, if we're gonna get down to it and get to the quick of what is wrong with this show, is it was definitely marketed for fans of the Yakuza series. Let's be real, because they use the characters from the games, so it was definitely marketed towards Yakuza fans. The problem is there are so many changes to the story. And I just want to say, I am the person, a lot of people were upset that, oh, they're not going to include silly side quest type stuff. I wasn't upset about that, because I was like, you know what? It's a show. They got to be more concise. Yeah, the silly side quest is fun and everything, but if we're talking about, a show here, obviously, you can't just have people running around going off with these side quests that, in the context of a show, it really wouldn't make any sense why Kiryu is getting roped into these random, really weird side quests. It doesn't make sense. So for me, that was never an issue. I know a lot of people did have an issue with that, but I did not. So just to clarify going into that. A lot of the changes, though, that I didn't like is they just took the names and some of the overall story. For instance, Haruka is there, and, basically, I guess even that is just taking the character, because Haruka is there and everything. But, and again, I will reiterate, spoilers for the first Yakuza game if you have not played it. Instead of, oh my gosh, why can't I remember her name? Okay, Yumi. I don't know why I was thinking Yuka. I'm dumb today. Yumi, the character that, Kiryu and... I'm gonna end up saying his name wrong. But Kiryu grew up with in the orphanage, who Kiryu, had a crush on and everything. Yeah, she... In the games, she was actually secretly Haruka's mom the whole time, and just kind of more pretending to be her aunt and to be this other character. Yumi, she never had a sister. They were the same person. In the show, they actually do make Haruka's mom. I can't even remember her name. Yeah, she, like, it's a separate character. Yumi is not Haruka's mom. Like, they actually just added a character, and for some reason, too, Nishikawa, yeah, his sister is in the show, but she doesn't go by the same name. But in the games, like, at least in Yakuza 1, Yakuza 0 is different, she had already succumbed to her illness, if you will, and was not there. So, there's, like, those big story changes, and even then, Kiryu's reasoning for, like, going to jail, it's not the same as in the games. Like, it's not the same as in the games. The whole how they even joined the Yakuza is different than it was in the games, for not really any reason. What's happening, like, even just minor things of where Haruka ends up, you know, potentially seeing her mom get attacked, and where, like, she's found and everything. It's not even in a bar. It's like some convenience store, and it's not Kiryu who finds her. Like, it's just all these weird story changes that it makes it feel like the reason why I said in the beginning, this show is definitely, like, they tried to market it for Yakuza fans, but it's really not for Yakuza fans. They took the names of the characters, like, oh yeah, you recognize these characters, so you can just basically point at it and be like, oh yeah, that's that guy, I know him, and just changed everything about the story. Like, it honestly would have been better if they just would have made all new characters for it, or just actually kept with the plot of the game. Like, they needed to do one or the other, because the market you're trying to go for, yeah, they're not really gonna like it. If we're being totally honest. Because it's just all these story changes. Like I said, basically nothing in the show, literally nothing, except for very basic bare bones to say that it still is this Yakuza series, is the same. Like, everything else is different. They just have the character names as the same. And there's also some really odd choices of, let's see, which episode is it? Okay. So, it's episode 2. There's a scene where, the characters are all having fun and celebrating. And they play the song Mr. Blue Sky. Very popular song. You know, it's been used in, I believe it was Guardians of the Galaxy used it. I know the Mario movie used it. And I was like, okay, that's really weird. I don't know why we're using, like, this American popular song in a Japanese show. Why not, like, you know, use a, like, popular Japanese song, or even just write something for it, but okay. And then in the next episode, they are using a cover of Mad World, and the version that's, like, in the Gears of War trailer, and the Donnie Darko movie. Like, it's that slowed down version, but it's a cover because it's a female. And I'm like, okay, now we're using another, like, American, like, am I watching a CW show here or something? Like, it just felt so weird. You know, it was just such an odd choice that I'm like, why are we doing this? It makes no sense. But, you know, that was just, again, another show. Now, I will say, for all the changes that it did make to the story, it did seem like the show had, hey, this is the concept, this is the idea, and, like, where we want to go with it. Which, you know, it's like, well, okay, if you're gonna change literally everything, then you better at least know where you want to go and what story you're wanting to tell here. Like, that's fairly important stuff. But I feel like someone like let's say my husband, Senor Sylveon, because he has not played the Yakuza games, he doesn't really watch shows, but someone like him would probably get more enjoyment out of this show than anybody who's played the games. Because, like, as a person who has played the games, I was like, well, this all just... It just feels weird. And I'm not gonna lie, I wouldn't say the overall story is boring and just... Or the overall story is bad. It's not poorly written. And this could just be coming from the lens of because, you know, I did play the games. The show, it honestly just felt like extremely boring to me. I was having a hard time watching the episodes, and just how the story was changed so much. I'm like, why am I sitting here watching this? It just feels pointless. I was expecting some kind of, like, more of an adaptation than, you know, what we got. Like, yeah, okay, of course I figured they were probably gonna take, you know, oh, maybe have to change some stuff or whatever. But just changing literally everything about the story, it's not the move. And they even, so, because obviously, you know, in the game, Kiryu is the main character, very much focuses on him, and you would expect maybe in a show they'd flesh out more, but I feel like Kiryu was barely in the show for at least the first 3 episodes. Like, they're focusing more on this, you know, made-up plot line that they made simply for the show of Yumi trying to find her sister. We weren't even focusing really on anything of even, like, oh, him trying to figure out who this, like, mass unaliver, thanks YouTube for making me have to censor myself, is. And, you know, any of the plot of, like, really revolving around the Yakuza or anything. Like, it felt like we were just paying attention to all this other stuff, and it's like, well, why'd you make this show Yakuza then? It sounds like you kind of really wanted a very different show. So, it just, even, I feel like maybe even if you haven't played the games, it might still be kind of boring and a little confusing to you. Not as bad, but it's still, like, it just overall felt like the show was pretty boring, and, like, it knows where it wanted to go, and apparently where it wanted to go is not really focusing on much of any aspect of, like, the Yakuza or the games or anything. Now, the actors, they all did a perfectly fine job portraying their characters. Like, the little that I, you know, saw of Kiryu, I thought was, the actor did great and everything, but again, it was the little that I saw of him. Honestly, though, I have to wholeheartedly say I would not recommend this show, because like I said, I couldn't even finish it. I seriously do not recommend this show. I mean, I guess maybe if you haven't played the Yakuza games yet, Kiri, shut up. Senor Sylveon just walked in the door, don't mind that. If you haven't played the games yet, maybe check out the show, but if you have played the games, I'm gonna be honest, don't waste your time. Don't even waste your time. But anyway, that's gonna wrap up all my thoughts and everything on the Like a Dragon Yakuza show. If you like this video, go ahead and hit that like and subscribe. I upload every Friday. Twitch, Instagram, Twitter, it's all linked down below. Twitch, stream usually Monday through Thursday, 8:30 p.m. Central Time. We're actually going to be starting, speaking of Yakuza, we're going to be starting Yakuza 3, so that'll be exciting. But yeah, I hope you all enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!